Hi, my name is Shrikar Allah, and I'm from the music appreciation class, and I'm also in the intro to communication class, which is what this speech is for. And today I'll be identifying my culture and describing just how important nonverbal communication is within my culture and how my culture can impact the mass communication. So I'm from India, and in India there are many regions with many different religions, and I'm personally Hindu, and that's because that's where my family came from. And what is Hinduism? So Hinduism is basically a religion where the people believe that life is in a continuous cycle, and we also believe in reincarnation, and we also have many different gods and heroes that represent many different things, and this can sort of be like Roman and Greek mythology. And in order to show our appreciation to these gods, we usually have prayers called pujas, or where the priest sings out mantras, and we follow, and we as the people, we follow along with the priest and try to keep up. And then we usually pray at the end and close our eyes and ask God whatever we want. And how does my culture impact the way I see the world and how I communicate and present myself? So, well, when I was a kid, my mom would tell me the stories of the gods and how they act and what they did and the things that they went through. And I feel like in a way these stories were kind of embedded into me. I feel like a few key things that I learned was that good karma and bad karma is really big in my culture, because we believe that any good we do will come back to us and any bad we do will also come back to us. I feel like that's really embedded in me, so I'm mostly motivated to do good things in my life instead of being motivated to do bad things, because in my heart I know that it'll come back to me at some point in time. And also another thing would be how my parents, or like how people in my culture would treat people who come to our house like guests. Like whenever there are guests coming, we always clean the house, make as much food as we can, and we make sure the guests are as comfortable as possible. And this is a sign of respect and to show that we need to treat everybody equally, whoever it is who comes to our house. So I feel like a combination of all of this made me into a nice and soft person, and a very likable person too by many people. And nonverbal communication plays a big role in my culture, and I feel like this is true for many cultures out there. But personally, in my culture, a big thing is taking off our shoes before we go to a person's house. I mean, this just shows respect to the person's house, and it shows that we actually want to be there. And also, another big thing is sitting down crisscross on the floor while eating. Well, nowadays, this is kind of not as big and it's kind of forgotten, but I remember back in the day, like 10 years ago, like we would sit on the floor crisscross, and this used to show respect that we have food and not everyone has that luxury. But nowadays people just sit on a table and stuff like that, but I remember back in the day that was huge. And another big thing is whenever we see elders or anyone respectable, we usually bow and touch their feet as a sign of respect to the person, and to show that they're really important or really an elder who deserves our respect. And how does communication differ when I communicate with people from other cultures? Well, when I first came here, like the American culture was really new to me, and I was a little lost because I would be stuck in my Indian ways and, you know, do things like take my shoes off at school or stuff like that. And it was a little bit of a struggle, but as time went on, I started to adapt and I started to do things in the American way. And after I moved to California from Arkansas, I was introduced to a lot more Asian cultures too, because in Arkansas we didn't have that where I used to live. So when I came here, I started to realize I need to adapt to new cultures too. So for example, when I now meet my Korean friends' parents, I usually bow, or when I meet my Vietnamese friends' parents, I also bow. And then they say "Jiao" as a sign of respect too. So my culture, like all the other cultures out there, has a huge effect on the mass media, especially now with social media and the news. Like people can talk about their religion, post about their religion, and just put their religion out there. And I feel like this can be a good thing, but this can also be a bad thing. So some advantages would be more and more people would be aware of different cultures out there, and you know, the cultures that weren't as famous before can have a chance to be in the spotlight and just put themselves out there. But some disadvantages could be that people could make fun of these, you know, religions and cultures, and they could really put them down and discriminate against them. So there are goods and bads to the culture being a big influence on mass media. But overall, my culture has made me who I am today, and from where I come from, we not only communicate with our words, but also non-verbally. And now people from more different cultures interact more and more. So I feel like it's important for people to be aware of where they come from and embrace their culture instead of shying away from it. Thank you for listening to my speech, and I hope you have a nice day. Hi, I know I was looking up from time to time during my presentation, and that was just to look at the questions, so I just wanted to clear that up. Thank you.